Good morning, this is Joel Exhibio, PhD RD. We're going to talk today about sialic acid and chronic inflammation. In summary, sialic acid is present in red meat and dairy products. When you eat those products, sialic acid is incorporated into human cells. The immune system starts producing antibodies against sialic acid, leading to chronic inflammation, leading to cancer, arteriosclerosis, and the cytokine storm that we see in COVID-19. So what is sialic acid? Sialic acid is a family of more than 50 different carbohydrates that are attached to the proteins in the cell membrane. But there are two that are the main ones. The NEU5AC is a sialic acid present in humans, and the NEU5GC is present in mammals, especially beef and pork. So what is the role of the sialic acids? In the cell membrane, we have proteins. Those proteins could be transmembrane proteins or peripheral proteins. Those proteins are always attached to carbohydrates. Those carbohydrates are part of the glycocalyx. Those carbohydrates could be galactose or sialic acids. So those proteins plays an important role. Usually they are receptors for hormones or receptors for neurotransmitters. So for example, let's say that I have insulin, a hormone. Insulin recognizes the carbohydrate attached to the receptor, and now insulin attached to the receptor. So if we have the wrong carbohydrate here, insulin cannot attach to the receptor and insulin resistance develops. So sialic acids play that role, right? In humans we have NEU5AC. In animals we have NEU5GC. So when the immune system recognizes 5GC, because this is a foreign particle, antibodies are produced. Those antibodies attack the cell, leading to chronic inflammation. Now humans cannot produce 5GC from 5AC because we are lacking the enzyme. That is the reason why 5GC is only present in animals. The question is, can we incorporate the 5GC from animals into the human cells? The answer is yes. This is a paper published in 2005, Mechanism of Uptake and Incorporation of the Non-Human Sialic Acid, the 5GC, into human cells. Basically, in this research, when humans do not eat red meat, the main sialic acid in the membrane is 5AC. However, when humans eat red meat, they shown that 5GC increases in the cell membrane. And this is the mechanism. 5GC is incorporated by pinocytosis into the cell. Goes to the lysosome, goes to the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus produces proteins. But as you can see here, those proteins are already attached to the 5GC. So those proteins eventually go into the cell membrane, but now with the 5GC attached. There is another paper published in 2019 from serum sickness to sialitis. For more than 100 years, we have known that when we transfer plasma from an animal to humans, chronic inflammation develops. That is what we call serum sickness. However, we couldn't explain why. This theory explained that sialic acid is the cause. So now the term that we are using is sialitis. Sino means an external animal, sialitis inflammation caused by sialic acid. So this review paper concludes that all humans have varying levels of antibodies against 5GC. So when these antibodies interact with 5GC, chronic inflammation develops, leading to tumor inflammation, cancer progression, and vascular inflammation. So basically, when a human is CMAG negative, this means that we are lacking the enzyme to go from 5AC to 5GC. So for example, a baby, when a baby is born, there is no 5GC in the cells. However, eventually that baby is going to start eating red meat. And now 5GC is incorporated into the cells, leading to chronic inflammation. The 5GC have been found in the epithelium, leading to inflammation. Also in the endothelium, leading to inflammation and arteriosclerosis. Also have been found in cancer cells. So all these conditions are what we call sialitis. Inflammation due to sialic acid. Last year, a paper was published. This research was conducted in France. Association between 5GC carbohydrate and serum antibodies against it. Basically, this shows the link to cancer. In this study, they recruit more than 16,000 patients, and they have the food record, at least 6 food records for each patient, in order to quantify the amount of 5GC consumed. This paper also created a JC index using as reference beef. So you can see that many cheeses have a high amount of 5GC. And when we talk about meats, you can see that liver is really high on 5GC. On the contrary, rabbit is really low on 5GC. So they found that the higher the intake of dairy products and meat, the higher the amount of 5GC. And this trend is the same for males and for females. However, is higher in males. This may explain why males have a higher incidence of cardiovascular disease and a higher risk of dying from COVID-19. Also, the level of antibodies for 5GC increases as more meat and dairy products are consumed. So these are part of the classes that we teach in our website. You can pay with credit card or with PayPal. You're gonna have access to the PowerPoint, the videos, the case studies, and the evaluation. If you develop the case studies and if you pass the evaluation, you're going to have access to the certificate. Thank you for attending this webinar. See you next week.